Hey, you're listening to Smoke Meat. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat is brought to you by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. Just a great place to go. Everybody makes you feel like you're at home the first time you walk in and every time you walk in. So go on in and tell them I said, hey, remember I goes to Joe's and so should you. That's Joe's Underground, the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar Building. I also have another sponsor now. It's going to be the 4 Points Trading Company. They make the greatest soy candles I've ever smelled in my life. They've got so many cool scents. They've got, normal scents, that the wife would like. And then they've got stuff for the guys too. They've got, if you're a baseball fan, they've got one that smells like a damn dugout, like the dirt and everything, not like the sweat, but the dirt. And they've got one called Leather that also smells just like a baseball glove. It's awesome. I lit it in the basement the other day here in the studio, and it came back downstairs about 10 minutes later, and it smelled like I walked into a sporting goods store. It's just awesome. So they're great people, have a great product, so go check them out. That's going to be 4pointstradingco.com, and put in your promo code smoked meat to get 10% off, and just enjoy. Go nuts. Today, my guest is Deb Perkins. Been looking forward to this one. Deb is such a great lady. She is all about the paranormal. We're continuing some Halloween Spooktacular. She has been a producer, writer. She's an investigator. You name it, she does it. And that is so awesome to me because I love the paranormal. So we're going to go on ahead and get this ghostly beast kicked off here on Smoked Meat. Happy Halloween weeks, people. Hey, so how are you doing today, Deb?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I have been looking forward to this so much. I know we had some scheduling snafus, and we finally did it.
You know what? It's destined. Only when things are meant to happen, they happen.
That's it exactly. That's it exactly. I'm ready to have a ball today. I'm happy Halloween is less than 2 weeks away, and I'm ready for it.
Oh, what you gonna do? You gonna dress up and scare people, or
kinda? I'm gonna work.
You're gonna work?
I've got to.
We offered to work, and then I said, "No, I'm not gonna dress up and scare people."
Yeah.
If they come by, they walk by the house, I'm gonna scare them.
Oh, my wife and kids are going to dress up and be here at the house for trick or treat.
Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have to work. It's going to be fun because it's the first of the month, which is a payday. It's nice. A Saturday. It's going to be a full moon, a blue moon, no less.
Really?
Halloween.
Ooh. What does blue moon mean? Because last year we were in the red moon.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure exactly what
it was. Red or pink, but it was one of them that was said that people go nuts. And, werewolves be coming out of everywhere, and they'd still look like your relative. But it would be like somebody just like losing it over the tides of the ocean tides and the moon and all the atmosphere and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. Oh, it don't matter what color the moon is. People go crazy on a full moon. I'm a firm believer. I've worked for 30 years.
You've been a witness of it yourself, have you? I have myself. I know what you're talking about.
Oh.
I'm married to one that does that, the moon. But then after so many years, the moon cannot be your only excuse.
Oh, no.
Eventually that moon thing, that excuse wears out like on a parent. Oh, no, you're not using the moon on me again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was yesterday. And don't use the moon on me. Anyways.
Yeah. But I am going to a Halloween party Saturday night, so that'll be fun.
Oh, cool. Yeah. People getting together. Good.
Yeah, a bunch of us getting together. Right. And, be at somebody's house, and it's all of us that are always together anyway, so it's not like we're going to be exposing ourselves to new viruses and that kind of crap.
Exactly. And I think the pandemic's kind of calmed down. Oh. They would just and some people can't wear the masks, to be honest.
Yeah.
I get where it's too close to my face and it's just like I'm suffocating. So I'm one of those people that if I had to wear something like that full time, I'd have to have it way bigger because against my skin, bugs live in. It's because I really don't go very far. I stay around my home. And when I do go in public, it's like an oddity. It's like wearing glasses for the first time or wearing braces for the first time. You're not adapted to it for a while. So
Hmm.
you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. Oh,
uh,
I'm just looking forward to it. This is my favorite time of year. Yesterday, I kind of cheesed out on the beginning of my Halloween Spooktacular week to get everybody ready. I went back over all my old episodes,
oh wow.
my good Halloween and horror episodes, and I copied the links and I posted all of them.
Oh
And
wow.
just get everybody ready. And I'm going to actually start posting to my Halloween people today.
Oh, very cool.
And we're going to lead up to Halloween night, which is going to be just so much fun. I'm looking forward to it.
It's my favorite time of year, but I had a birthday recently, and
Hmm.
October is my month, so anything about the fall, the leaves falling from the trees to you name it, to the Halloween thing,
Hmm.
just the coldness, the crisp in the air. It's my favorite time of year. Some
Yeah.
people prefer summer and they always want to be dry heat, and I'm the opposite. I like to have a little bit of coolness. I don't want to have to sit in front of an air conditioner when I can walk outside and enjoy just taking a walk,
That's me. I like cold when I'm acclimated. Once I'm acclimated to it, I'm good. But if not, I'm freezing. But I'm acclimated now because it's been a little bit cool here. And our summer wasn't bad in Georgia, which really surprised me.
Really.
Usually it's like walking outside into a hot bath, but
Right.
wasn't bad this year, and I'm happy about it.
That's awesome. My mother lives in Florida half the year, and you can't walk outside.
Nope.
You have to stay inside, and it's kind of like, don't you people get sick of seeing each other? You can't just take a walk down the street because you're stuck in a house with your family, and you're looking at them going, I wish it wasn't so hot outside.
Yep.
Because when I was a kid, we played ball. We did all kinds of activities, at least 3 seasons.
Yeah.
The last season was shoveling.
Yeah. Yeah. Here in Georgia, we have 2 seasons. We have summer and January 14th. Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what? When you're on vacation, come up this way. We
Definitely.
always have a place up here, and I got a big house, so we can accommodate you.
Very.
Or bring a camper. We have a big, big, big yard.
Mhm.
It depends on your privacy factor. Some people like to have a lot of privacy. Some
Mhm.
doesn't matter so much, but
I'm just looking forward to this stuff being over where I can travel some.
I know.
Because doing this show, I've talked to so many great people and made so many great friends, because I tell everybody I don't do interviews. I just meet friends with a lot of people watching and listening.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And I've talked to so many people and made so many friends that I haven't got to see. So I'm wanting to go to California and meet people, New York and meet people. I spoke with some people in Sweden the other day, and now Sweden is on my list because I really want to go.
Aw,
They're
I
amazing
love
people.
that. Australia's on my list.
Too many venomous things in Australia. I'm not a snake guy.
I only want to go because, for one, it's all the way to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And I have a lady that has the same name as me. We we became friends years ago. She's
Hmm.
a firefighter. She teaches children firefighting in Australia.
Hmm.
And we began friends on MySpace, sending photographs of images of pictures of flowers.
Hmm.
And like I would send our native flower pictures to her, and she'd send what was growing in her neck of the woods. And eventually, her name is Debbie Perkins, and we became friends. And so then I would write on her timeline, because we're just bonding as friends. And she would write back and say, "My friends think I'm talking to myself." So I thought that was really cool. But she was such a nice lady, and I am still friends with her. But she does. They have lots of fires and stuff where
Hmm.
she's from, but she's in North Australia.
Hmm.
But I mean, like you said, you meet a friend, you want to meet them.
Yeah.
I think if you manifest that enough, it actually happens.
Yeah.
Um, I had a manifestation like that once, and it worked. I had met almost every ghost hunter,
Hmm.
and I know you know I'm in paranormal and I've done investigations for many years. And I wanted to, well, I think what happened was joined a team and they picked on me, so I quit. I quit, and then they were still interested in what I was doing because I do paranormal photography, and I really don't care what anybody says. I do my pictures, and if they like them, they like them. If they don't, criticism is fine too.
Yeah.
I could care less either way. I see what I see. If you don't see it, that's not my fault. That's just we all see things very differently. So anyways, I ended up joining. Well, I joined myself. I created a team, 9 people to start. There was so many people interested in it. It was really neat. I did get to investigate. When I first started, it was Maine Extreme Paranormal. To this day, I can pull some of the investigators in anytime and just do some. Because we were, for one, dedicated to the knowledge of learning, and for two, we really liked meeting all the people and the historical locations. A lot of them were historic locations for the most part. But we did do a couple of new residents, which I thought was weird. But then I thought, you know what? It's a land issue. A lot of times, it's a land issue or former owner, that might be dangling around because he forgot to do something. And I do believe that residuals happen because I've gotten a lot of evidence to prove on a residual stuff. Spirits that are just doing the same thing they did every day. They are not, if they're home or work or whatever location they spent most of their time is still standing. I do believe that they do residual stuff. I got called in on a case at an insurance company, and it was nighttime, about 10:30. I had to go when the night auditor was working. I wasn't supposed to be there. Nobody's supposed to be there. They had a serious privacy thing with that place, but the night auditor worked 10 years, experienced things himself. There was people that had given him stories of running into apparitions, all these weird things, but he didn't tell me anything about that. He told me after the fact. So I walked through this building with him. I couldn't bring any camera. He wouldn't let me bring anything in. No recorders, no nothing. For one, probably because his job would be on the line. For two, it was a high security building, and it wasn't, he didn't want any real evidence. And I don't blame the guy. I mean, it was his job. And anyways, the company is no longer that company anymore. Yeah. They switched hands. But this was way back, gosh, I want to say probably 10 years ago. And it was a really weird experience because I'd always going into investigation with my tools. I've always got a K2, I've always got a recorder, I always got a phone, or I got I've got something. I've got something, but
always something with you.
He didn't want me to bring anything in, so I respected his wishes and took the walk around. The least I could do is nothing could happen and it would be fine. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we walked through the building and got on the second floor, and I was walking through all the they had like half wall mediums in between each little space station, and I stopped at one and I said, "This seems like something is here, it's happened here." I can't remember my exact words, but I had just insinuated in different areas where energy was, and then what I felt, what I thought I was feeling at the time, and I just went with it that way because that's all I could do. And when we finished and we were wrapping it, it was leaving. I said, "I hope I satisfied you. I don't know what you wanted me to do. But I hope that was satisfactory to you." I didn't feel like it was a whole lot, but him, it was great. Yeah. He said every place that I stopped and I had some feeling on, every single place was the activity spots. Now, that's only good for me. You're like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I was on about what I was feeling, and I'm glad for that. But yeah, I mean, I never went back there. But if I helped him in any way, to work there and to walk around at night and to do whatever he had to do. Um, I think some people just need to feel like they're not going crazy,
Yeah. Yeah. They
you
just
know?
need to know that they're not the only ones. They're not, like I said, they're not crazy. Something's happening.
Yeah. Yep. And a lot of people do. I produce a show for Willie Windwalker, and I've done that for years for him. And we just got back together doing it again. And so I was listening to his guest last night because I do a show on Monday nights. And I just tune out. I just let him do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to his guest last night, and I thought, she's so right, because she said that um, when you have these experiences, it's really super hard to explain to another person unless they know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
have either lived through an experience of some sort, in general, so I kind of get what she was saying. And I was like, this woman is so on, because a lot of my experiences growing up with the other side, it brought my curiosity forward. And that's why I wanted to do the technical research on it. But I ended up being more considered sensitive at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The other techie teams that weren't sensitive, they were calling me sensitive. And I was like, look, I go to a place, I get a feeling, I tell you what it is.
Yeah.
If I get a vision, I tell you what it is, because that's what I believe we should do. If I hold it in, I take away something that I probably should have left on a table when I was there,
Yeah.
One example I had was the Mill Agent's house up in Vassarboro, Maine. It's been done to death at this point, but I was in with one of the first teams because we did the cooperatives. We helped each other out. They had a lack of team members. I had a couple of steady people that were interested in going out and doing research no matter where it was. And I was, of course, I gotta go do this. And it was a historic place, and I love history. Love history. It's a big thing. It's a big, big thing. And so we went there. I had no clue where I was going. They didn't tell me nothing. I'm driving. 3 hours later, I'm like, where are we going? She goes, right up here by the police barracks. And I said, oh, great. So it was about almost a 3-hour drive from my house.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the night, thank God we were spending the night. And I did like I do, did a walkthrough, watched them with the meters. I had some meters, but we were just basically doing a walkthrough. And then we had the rest of the night to mess around with the equipment and to break up into teams and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a long night, but my very first experience I had was in a blue room on the second floor in the front of the house. And when the owner was there, Tony from Maine Ghost Hunters was there. My team was Maine Extreme Paranormal because I didn't want to be afraid of anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said, I don't know what's going on, guys, but I'm seeing a woman in white held down and her face is changing. And I said, and they're in agony. The women, the faces, they're in agony. There's a woman holding down in white, and then there's a man between the legs in white. And I said, and there's a lot of blood, and I don't know what's going on, but I thought it was a weird couple doing weird things, sexual things, to other people. And the owner immediately knew what I was saying. And he said that he didn't tell me right then. They kind of like ran around the house going, oh my God, we got to tell her, because they didn't want to tell me nothing. And whatever, I just go with it. It's what they want to do. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And come to find out, that room was used for abortions in the 1800s. They were illegal at that time. And the doctor that was doing them and his wife. And this is a weird part of the story. In the middle of the night, I had to use the bathroom, but I didn't want to go by myself. And I was all sleeping in this one big room right across from the blue room. Yeah, we got to be near that room.
Of course.
And it was a different section. It was like an apartment setup. But he was having a hard time keeping people in there because of the activity, he said. Yeah. And I'm sitting up thinking, okay, do I want to go in the bathroom past the blue room, or do I want to creep down the stairs and go in that bathroom? I'm thinking, I'm going to creep down the stairs and go in that bathroom because I didn't really like the blue room. I was having a problem with the blue room. I don't know why. I'm not afraid of very much. I can climb a tree and swing it, you know?
Mm.
And oh my gosh, she says to me, my friend, she was like, what's the matter with you? And I said, I gotta go to the bathroom. She's like, I'll go with you. So I'm getting ready to walk down the stairs and she grabs me by the arm. She says, what are you doing? And I said, I'm trying to go to the bathroom downstairs. And she's like, oh, cut it out. The bathroom's over here, right? I'm like, I don't want to go past the blue room. She goes, stop being silly. I've never seen you like this. And I'm like, I know, but I don't like it. Well, probably because of what I saw. It would look like murders. And it kind of, in a sense, was. But anyways, so we went to the bathroom. I should not have started my monthly, and I did there. And I had already had finished it 2 weeks before that. And I was so, like, I was mad because I hate having that. And not just that, but like, why was I having that at this freaking place, you know?
In that room, no less.
The room behind, well, that would have been that room.
Yeah.
Because they turned the bathroom, they shortened the room. They made a hallway and a bathroom for that section of that house during some point in the 1900s.
Yeah, I know, you talk about being sensitive. It's funny. I never was until I started investigations. And when I got really heavy into it, I think the more that you open your mind up and understand things are out there, the more that your mind lets you see. And I know there's in Milledgeville here, that's where the big state mental hospital was.
Oh.
And there's a building there that I couldn't roll up on the campus of it without just getting physically sick. It was called the Culver Kid Building. And
wow.
that's where the morgue for this place always was.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know that, but I couldn't even get on those grounds.
Did you have any relatives or anything that may have gone there, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't mean that in any disrespect. I mean, like, did you ever have any like possible relatives that may have been incarcerated in that place? Because I think that sometimes our relatives call us in and you will get those feelings. You will get the sick, nauseous, stomachs flipping, spirit goes through you. They go through you. They don't stop. And it's, I could say sadly, honestly, it might have happened to me a couple times. And I say might because I want to always have that open door of did it really happen? And and when one went through my arm, it felt like somebody pulling on my arm. Yeah. And it was weird. And I was like, that's just, but then there was the place that we were at was a big old minister's house. It was first minister in a specific town. And we were in the basement and I was leading a team at an event and everybody watched it. Everybody saw it. Everybody watched the jacket go like this. And I was like, seriously, guys, that was the weirdest feeling ever. So I know what you mean. And it can happen. It can happen.
Yeah. And it was funny. I didn't see things like, a lot of people describe, okay, I see this here. The way it would work with me was I could just sit down and get quiet and have everybody around me quiet and close my eyes. You know that little white noise behind your eyes when you have them closed?
Yep.
It would almost just, all the little white things would kind of just congeal into me seeing something. And it was really strange, but now it's not.
I think it's a gift.
I haven't done it for a long time.
It's a good gift. And you know what? As long as you always keep your mind open and never shut it, you can go anywhere and find spirit.
Yeah.
Graveyard is the worst because I find the most. But I'm finding more children and women. Yeah. There, and I can see in specific. I look at a paranormal image like a photograph, like anybody else would, except for I add like an extra thing where I don't know if you're a child and you look at clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that was pastime.
Yeah.
Growing up, that was a huge pastime for us, and especially when you're on long trips.
Yeah.
And we drove to Florida and up and down the coast, so we were always looking at clouds. We had to do something like,
Yeah.
oh, that cloud looks like a dog. Oh, that cloud looks like Uncle Henry. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we
So
didn't have
we were
phones in the
always
player.
picking it out.
Yeah.
Right. And I do think I've caught a couple angels, but then again, do angels exist? Do UFOs exist? Does ghosts exist?
I
If
believe
you
it
keep an
all.
open mind, everything in the world can exist on any different plane.
Mhm.
They talk a lot about, different layers
Yeah.
of existence. I
Yeah.
mean, we're just one.
Yeah. And we like to think that we're the smartest creatures anywhere. And look how long it took people to master the Rubik's Cube. We're not the smartest people around.
Isn't that funny?
We haven't found
We're
everything.
supposed to be searching for gold right now. Come on.
Yeah. If,
Just saying.
if I
Um,
talk about Bigfoot,
According my ancestry, I'm supposed to be digging for gold. I ain't digging nothing up because uh, what are they going to do when they come back and find fool's gold? What are you going to, I mean,
yeah.
well, that's cold plated. Well, they don't want that. But yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
terrestrial stuff. I did the radio show for, I want to say, well, I started that in 2009.
Mhm.
Well, mostly as a gimmick and to help appease another person.
Mhm.
She wanted to do radio, and I said, okay, I'll do it with you, I guess. If I like it, I'll stick with it. If I don't, whatever. You know what I mean? It's, something to do. And in 2009, in November, coming up, we began the USA Paranormal Radio Show. And I originally called it United States Spiritual Parent. I can't remember now, for God's sakes, it's not been that long. And I have it somewhere. But anyway, so I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll do some interviews with people and we'll see how that goes. We'll interview people that are in paranormal, find out what they like, what they don't like, what they want to use for tools, what are the newest tools, where do they get on, all of that fun stuff, and just curious. Then it turned into not just ghost hunters. I ended up talking to haunted locations, um, scream queens, horror people like Cleve Hall, um, scream queens like Dee Wallace from E.T.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden I was like, this is really cool. I enjoyed talking to people about what they do.
Yeah.
And then I had cryptids on. One guy actually discovers different things, entities, or whatever they are, and names them. Then I ended up talking to people like John Lear from the Learjet dynasty, and he was an aviation specialist. He's no longer with us, I don't believe, but he flew just about every plane there ever was. And here he is on my show, like this genius millionaire talking to me about UFOs.
Yeah.
So, and I got to work with the UFO conventions for the first 3 years that they began, and they were doing it right. The girl, Aubrey Starborn, she created it with her sister Debbie, and we became really good friends. And I ended up helping them out, and by helping them, I got to meet, some of the other awesome people.
Yeah. These things snowball really quick.
Stanton Friedman, I don't know. I think didn't he? I don't know if he's passed away or not, but he came to every event, and he was the sweetest man. Him and Peter Robbins would chill together, and during their break periods, they do lectures. A lot of people come and they talk about the grays and all the different species that they believe, and it was really cool. What I loved about it was these people were sincere, and they really believed that they were experienced, these different things. And the science behind it was insane. And I got to meet, oh my gosh, Travis Walton. Travis Walton was the experiencer, and he was
Fire
the
in the
guy that
sky.
Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
And what was cool about that was I ended up taking him and his girlfriend to dinner, dropping him off at the restaurant, picking him back up. This is helping Aubrey. She was running the convention, and they were very good friends. Eventually, he would come by himself because he was single, and they ended up being a thing, and then whatever. But anyways, long story short, I got to know these people for real, not just in sign my book type of, and then leave. I got to actually get to meet them for real, got to hug them quite a few times. And Stanton Friedman, people don't know who he is. He was all right, he was into UFOs, but he also was nuclear physicist. One of the great nuclear physicists. He was the witness at the crash landing of I guess Waco. No, Waco. I don't even know. Area 51. It might as well be. Yeah. Might as well be, but Area 51.
Yeah.
And he was a wicked nice guy. He wrote a couple books on the subject and stuff, and I got to meet him a few times. And what a cool person. Yeah. Just saying, like, he's a genius, but he's a cool person at the same time. It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people like that are they like to show off their genius or.
Oh, not these guys. It's not really funny.
I call it normal. I love that because they're people.
Humble, and flattered that I wanted to give him a big old hug and to get this picture with him, and so flattered. It was like, oh my gosh. And then I bet it was maybe 3 or 4 years later, I went to a convention and I met the guy that he played in the movie, the guy that played Travis Walton, which was D.B. Sweeney.
Yeah.
And I got to meet him, and I said to him, I met Travis Walton. And he immediately realized, oh no, this lady, Well, anyways, we had a quick conversation in it, and then I left him alone. But he was really nice, but the guy he worked for, or the guy that was his security guy,
his handler,
was kind of a jerk. Yeah. So I pretty much left him alone because I didn't really want to deal with his little jerky friend. But there was 100 other people there I hung out with and talked to and had a ball with anyway. So, but yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Very, very cool. Yeah, we're going to bounce all over today, ain't we?
That's fine.
I like it because it's a conversation, and I love that stuff.
That's all right with me. I don't mind. I got nothing to hide.
That's me. That is me. And just in case, we're coming up on our 40 minutes, but a lot of times Zoom lets you go over, which is awesome. So we're just.
I can't believe that happened. Yeah, with the time come, staring out the window with the ears.
Oh yeah, I'll talk all day. My wife and kids pick on me because I'll talk to anybody just forever. We were in Walmart one night just to pick up some stuff, and we went over by the garden center, and there was a guy, this old man, looking at a griddle. So I walked over and just started talking to him, and he's like, well, I don't know which one to get, if I need to get this big one or if I need this one. And I said, well, I happen to have both of them. And 45 minutes later, he had both of them with him. And I walked over to my wife and kids, and they were just standing there shaking their heads. I said, did you really just sell this 2 griddles? I said, well, I just informed them. And they just shook their heads like, really, Dad? And it was
funny. You got best of both worlds. What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I use my big griddle for big cooks, and I use my little griddle a lot more just because it's only a 17-inch one, and I can use the little Coleman bottles. And
right. Take you camping with you. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but I talk to everybody because everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
Some people that have guests on their podcasts, I know people who will hold out for the front men and the huge names, and that's fine. But somebody made those front men and those huge names, And it's funny, like when I spoke to Kenny Aronoff, one of the most famous and biggest drummers in the business, this guy's played with everybody. And when I first heard his name, I was thinking, I'm not sure who this is. And then I heard his work. I'm like, holy crap, I know everything this guy's done. He's a And I
Is
just
that
love
funny?
talking to people. I mean, behind me on the wall, you can see a drum head and a set of drumsticks he sent me.
I do see them.
Yeah. And that was so
Right
cool.
there. I'm on the right. I'm somewhere. I don't even know where my finger is. It's there. I see it.
Yep. And
Awesome. That's
that is
awesome.
so cool. I have people they'll send me autographed headshots or,
I
just
love that.
little things for the studio. Anything you want to send, I'll send you my address and it will go on my wall of fame or on my desk or wherever.
I
That's a piece of my show and that's a piece of the history of it. I love that part of it.
love it. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. When I
You,
did
you know,
Rocky.
you meet forever friends sometimes too that
Yeah,
are meant to be.
exactly.
Um, I'm friends with Andrea Gilmore Banderas now, and she's a super nice lady. And I hope everybody encourages what she's doing, which is called World Peace.
Hmm.
And she runs an events when she can. Of course, COVID put a hold on everybody, but she's trying to create a world peace amongst countries. Like she's not messing around.
Yeah.
Her husband was extremely famous. He has passed away from an accident in the 70s, but his name was Billy Gilmore.
Hmm.
He worked with Roy Orbison. He worked in, I'm sorry, I have to think here for a second, Atlantic Rhythm Section.
Hmm.
You would recognize his music. Super nice guy. She was married to him, as a young woman.
Hmm.
And her and I have bonded over a radio show, over being friend. You'd be surprised who you bond with and who will, just be a lifetime friend.
Yeah.
And I feel lucky because a lot of my guests have become good friends with me. But then again, it's like, how do you want to be treated in this life? And that's how you treat other people.
Yeah. And it's funny, rock fans, horror fans, movie people in general or music people in general could scroll through my contact list on my phone or look at Messenger or my texts and see who's active with me, and they would just freak out. And to me, it's
Right.
just, well, that's Kenny or that's so and so. I talked to them the other day, and it's funny. I sat down the other day, and it finally hit me. I get to talk to some really big people, and they're just friends, and that's
That's
so
not, yeah, but how cool is that? I mean, like,
yeah.
how cool is that?
It's very cool. And now, I don't listen to the radio the same. I'll be going down the road and when I hear In the Air Tonight, my favorite version is the live version. And when I hear it now, I'm like, that's Lee playing bass.
That's really
And it
neat.
just puts a whole
I
new
met
feel on it.
I met Andy Gibb when I was a teenager.
Oh man.
And he had some security around him, but I didn't give a crap because I was a kid.
Mhm.
And I was like maybe 13, maybe
Mhm.
all of 13. And it was, of course, he died, which was wicked sad. But
Yeah.
it wasn't long after, it was maybe somewhere around the time when he was doing the Saturday Night Live was coming out that was really big.
Mhm.
The movie, but his brothers were in it.
Yeah.
The Bee Gees were in it.
Yeah.
And some people are still fans of the Bee Gees, believe it or not. And when I met Andy Gibb, I ran right up to him. I didn't give a crap. All you can do is stop me. I'm a
Yeah.
kid. I was crazy. I dared to do that shit. Sorry, did I swear? But yeah, I dared to do
Right.
that stuff.
Yeah.
I met John Denver and I sat on his lap. I
Uh-huh.
was probably 8. Oh my God. He played the guitar. He finished his set.
Mhm.
I was in love.
He
I
was
was
so
in
cool.
love. I ran right over. Was at Busch Gardens.
Mhm.
Ran right over. I sat on his lap, and I don't know why he was at Busch Gardens. And I didn't care.
Mhm.
I was sitting on his lap, and I just looking in his eyes. And I don't know why I liked him. I just maybe that country song that he sang was Rocky Mountain High.
Mhm.
And I just remember it because, and I shouldn't remember this far back, but I just remember it because everybody's like, that was John Denver. And I was like, I only knew him from a radio.
Yeah.
I sat on his lap and then he died.
Yeah.
Hope I didn't jinx him. Hope this little kid didn't jinx him. But I was just a little kid, and honestly, that's what they were listening to. They were listening to the country music. They were listening to that.
Yeah.
That was the style. But like, meetings, people that have passed on, that was sad. That's kind of sad. But
Yeah.
in a way, in my heart, it's great because I get to meet them.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
got to, when I was a kid, the Dukes of Hazzard was really big.
yep.
And I remember being like 8 years old. We went to a car show in Augusta, where I'm from, and my dad, my sister, and myself all stood in line for like an hour to meet Enos, Sonny Schroyer.
Oh, really?
I remember shaking his
He's
hand.
a funny guy.
And
That's a good person to want to meet too. He's
about
fun.
6 months ago, I got to interview him, and I talked
Oh,
to him.
no way.
Yeah, he's from here in Georgia, and we talk regular now. I call him just to check on him, and he'll do the same with me.
That's wicked nice. See,
Yeah,
you never know. But some people are very arrogant in the filming acting.
yeah,
But um but then you meet some people that are very super nice, down to earth, that didn't lose didn't lose who they were in the rise for what they're, and sometimes they didn't even realize they're going to rise that big. They just do.
yeah.
It's kind of a thing where people like you, they like you. If they don't, you know, I don't care if they like me or don't like me. I'm me, and nobody's going to change me. People have tried.
That's it exactly.
Oh my God, have they ever tried?
Yeah.
They've tried to make me do things that I won't do.
Mhm.
I have taught myself years ago what I will and won't do. And if somebody wants me to do something bad or mean, I'm not going to do it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. It's not even about a reputation at that point. It's more about morals and where's your compass.
exactly.
And I keep my compass close to my heart because I want people to respect and like who I am, because I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I've raised my kids, I got grandchildren. You know what I mean? I'm a real person
Yeah,
in the end.
and I'm very, I could go a couple of ways on the show. I could either do it like I'm doing, where I'm just me, or I could do the radio voice and do that thing. I've done that before. I could come on like,
It sounds
"Oh,
too mean to me.
tell me all about your show."
No, don't do the radio voice. You know why? Because it's kind of irritating.
That's not real. That's not me. This is
It's really not you, and it's never going to be you. How many times you walk in the store and go, they would laugh at you all the way out the door as you're
I have
walking out.
food
Like,
radio
I
voice.
really didn't mean to be that way. You got a better chance pulling off a Scottish accent than you will pulling off that. But no, I think with my radio show, I've been really lucky.
Yeah,
People like
me
what I was doing,
if we
and
were
that's
sitting at the
why
table
they
right now talking, this is what you would get.
right.
And you
Yep.
as long as you're true to yourself, and you put yourself out there, people respond to that.
Yep. I believe you.
And I don't ask all the same questions everybody does, because being on shows, you you get the same questions that you've answered 20 times before, and that gets old. I hate that crap.
That's probably one of the funniest things that a lot of radio hosts will say.
Yeah.
They don't want to repeat themselves because, for one, it's not good for your brain to repeat stuff.
Yeah.
Your brain is supposed to bring new material in and out. It's not meant to hang on to the same garbage. So I get what you mean, and you know what? No two guests are ever going to be the same. You're getting different people every time you interview somebody. It's a different type of person.
Yeah, I use Howie Mandel for a good example. I listen to a lot of podcasts on the way to work because I drive about 45 minutes. And I love Howie Mandel. Well, I listened to him on one show one day, and I said, that was cool. I'm going to listen to him on the way home. So I found a different show. And it was just different voice, same questions. He would give the same answers. And you could tell he was so tired of it. I listened to about 4 different shows, and it was all the same. And he was so tired of it. And then I had the chance to interview Fred Snyder from the B-52s, which was amazing. And I had 3 pages worth of notes ready to go because I'm a huge B-52s fan. And as soon as we started, I mentioned something about Rock Lobster or Love Shack. I can't remember which one. He said,
I
"That's
love
50
that.
years worth of history. People can read about that. Let's talk about today." And I'm like, oh, crap. There goes my show. I don't know anything else. And he made me understand that he's done that. He don't want to do it again. Just let's
Right?
talk. And it was a great show. And I love Fred. He's such a great guy. And he taught me that lesson without thinking about teaching me a lesson. He just,
Aw,
I'm
I like that
talking
though.
about that.
I
Let's
like,
just talk about this. And we had such a great time. But yeah, it works. This is how I love doing my show because people understand who you are now.
oh, well,
You're
you
not
just
just a name.
find out I'm just a regular country girl who is having a great time in my life, and I love what I'm doing, and I'm happy where I'm at, and I can't honestly can't complain about my life.
That's
I
what.
never did anything that I would really regret. Even though I did naughty things sometimes, I didn't regret them in
Yeah,
the end.
I tell everybody I've never done anything that I regret. Now I've done a lot of things that I probably should, but everything that I've done, no matter what, if I could go back and change anything, not even the smallest thing would I change because had I done that, I might not have met my wife had I tied my shoes different one day.
Aw,
I may not be sitting here talking to you. I mean, nothing could be the same. And I'm
I think
happy.
you're right. I think you're right 100%. I think that everything leads you to where you're at when you are going to be at your happiest. And I do believe that if you're not happy with where you're at or what you have, why would God give you more?
Exactly.
Why would he do that? If you're unhappy with what he gave you already, then you're just miserable anyways.
Exactly. And some people are just like that. I know some people who would complain if you hung them with a new rope. I mean to tell you, I'm a pretty happy guy. I've got a good life, and I got 2 kids that have turned out fairly decent, I guess.
You know what? You can't do anything about that. So let them, you do your best, and that's all you can do is you do your best, and you send them into the world. But if you can prepare them for the world,
Yep.
this soft world that the new kids are getting, I wouldn't want to raise my kids now.
Oh man, it's rough.
I liked it back when we could spank them.
Oh,
Just
I
saying.
I still I
I'm
still
not into corporal punishment too bad, but let me tell you something. If a kid needs a good whooping,
when
I got one.
thinking it gives
I'm still here today because I got my whoopings.
that
But it also taught me to be a better person and to not be naughty to other people, not try to hurt other people. I got my ass handed to me, basically.
Jack Pittman could throw out an ass whipping when he needed to, and it worked.
I
And
don't know. Next generation ought to think of that, but this new generation, it's crazy. There's so much. I mean,
well, when both of my daughters needed spankings, they got spankings. And they'll look at you if they met you right now, you'd be ma'am, and it'd be yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you, please.
and when they grow up and they have their own kids, then they go, "Oh, now I know why they spanked me."
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do it more.
Oh my
I'm a,
God,
I'm
why
a
didn't it hit me more? No, I was, I think I was the most punished kid in the house, but I was the one that was always doing something. I was always busy. I was a busy girl. I have to do things. I wasn't a bad teenager though. I mean, like my mother's like, "You are a troubled child." I go, "Was I really?" Oh, thank you. At least I wasn't perfect. I didn't want to be perfect.
exactly,
Give that title to some other rotten kid.
exactly.
I couldn't be perfect. I wouldn't.
Mhm.
I don't like being. If I'm around somebody that's arrogant like that and that they think they're perfect,
Yeah,
they're in for a rude awakening in the end.
quick, fast, in a hurry.
They're in for a rude awakening.
There you
They
go.
will wake up one day and it will not be the same.
Exactly, exactly.
uh, you got to stay humble in this world. You just got to. You just
Yeah,
because if you don't,
when you
I
don't,
think
you'll get a
yeah,
tumbler. You'll have something that'll say, "Woo, this is for you."
or if you just don't, I don't know. I think being a better person has served me better as like when we bought this house, it was right timing. It was things happen in its time. Like when we were trying to make an arrangement for a show, I think everything happens in its time.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
but I mean, I'm kicking off almost about three shows of my own a week,
Mhm.
and I'm doing Willie's show, and that's a lot. And people don't realize what we do is not always easy.
Yeah, this is the
Really
fun part.
not.
I get to sit down and edit, which I don't do a lot of editing because I mean anything I say, I leave on here. I don't take out the ums and ahs and the none of that because that's flavor of the show. You
They
know,
make a whole song with the ums and ahs.
I know people who have a 30-minute show that'll edit for 4 hours, and it's like, why? I changed my levels and I put in an intro and some background music on the intro, and poof, I'm done. But it's just monotonous over and over and over, but it's what it takes to make a good show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I tell you, we've gone almost an hour. It don't seem
Good.
like it.
No, it never does. No, when you're having a good time, it never seems like an hour.
Yeah,
Hour goes by like that.
exactly.
Oh crap. I got a phone call. I'm sorry.
It happens. Well, we're definitely going to have to do a part two to this thing. You're
That
definitely
sounds good.
back because I
That sounds good. I'd like that.
yeah.
That's yeah. That's
Uh,
somebody for somebody else in the house. But awesome. Thank you so much. I had so much fun with you. You're awesome.
well, thank you
But,
so
and
much.
definitely, Brad, let's do something. Let's get something scheduled so that we can do more talking. I had a great time with you.
Me and you both.